Every morning, when the first rays of sunlight slip through your window, it's more than just the start of a new date, a gentle reminder that you're still alive. Not because you're strong, careful, or lucky, but because the Creator is still holding you in His mercy. Life isn't a right, it's a gift, a sacred offering granted by grace. If you're still breathing, it means you still have a chance to love, to heal, to change, to live out the purpose you were created for. Don't let life pass by as a string of meaningless days. Every moment is an invitation from God. I'm not done with you yet. Get up and keep going. In a world that spins fast and wears people down with worry and disappointment, pausing to be grateful for life is a radical act. It's not just humility, it's awakening. When you're thankful for the breath in your lungs, you begin to see the world through new eyes of hope, faith, and compassion. So today, as you open your eyes, let your heart whisper a word of thanks. Let the life within you become a living testimony of love and divine kindness. Because if you're still alive, you still have a mission, and no one else can fulfill it but you. Start your day not just with coffee, but with gratitude. Because life itself is the first miracle you receive today. Awakening. When life is more than just survival, there are mornings when you wake up feeling hollow. Not because you didn't sleep enough, but because you're unsure whether today holds any meaning. You stare out the window, watching sunlight filter through the leaves, yet your heart feels dim. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet question rises. I'm alive, but for what? That's the moment to pause, not to give up but to listen, to tune in to the whisper of life itself. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand attention, but it's always there. The breath you're taking in right now isn't automatic. The beat of your heart isn't random. These are sacred signals. You are being held, sustained, and offered another chance. Life isn't just a string of days, it's a divine invitation. We often live as if time is infinite. We postpone what matters. We avoid what's real. We chase distractions that numb us to our own existence. But life doesn't wait. It doesn't pause for us to catch up. It flows and we're swept along with it. Every morning you wake up isn't a repetition. It's a renewal, a divine selection. You've been chosen again to breathe, to love, to forgive, to begin anew. Not because you earned it, but because you're loved. And that love makes life sacred. Awakening isn't about opening your eyes, it's about opening your hearts. Some people go through life without ever truly waking up. They work, eat, talk, and sleep, but their hearts remain asleep. They don't feel the beauty of a rainy afternoon. They don't pause at the sound of a child's laughter. They don't see the miracle in the mundane. They exist, but they don't live. To awaken is to begin seeing not with your eyes, but with your soul. You start noticing life in every breath, every glance, every moment. You stop taking things for granted. You become grateful for what once seemed ordinary because you realize nothing is ordinary when it's wrapped in love. If you're still alive, you still have a mission. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, convince you that your life doesn't matter. You were created with purpose. There's something inside you that the world needs, a word you haven't spoken, a kindness you haven't offered, a truth you haven't lived. And if you're still breathing, it means there's still time. Your mission doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes it's simply listening to someone who's hurting, forgiving someone who broke you, choosing to be honest when it's easier to hide. These small acts ripple outward. They change lives. And you have the power to make that change. Life is a miracle, but you have to choose to see it. Some people look at life and see only injustice, pain, and disappointment. Others see love, hope, and possibility. The difference isn't in their circumstances, it's in their perspective. When you choose to see through the lens of gratitude, life becomes a series of miracles. Miracles aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they're surviving a hard day, holding on when everything feels like it's falling apart, believing in goodness even when you can't see it. And when you recognize these moments as sacred, you stop living in fear and start living in trust. Gratitude is the key that unlocks true living. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to focus on what you have, not what you lack. You choose to honor the gift of life, rather than complain about its imperfections. And when you live with gratitude, you don't just change your mindset, you transform your entire existence. Gratitude softens you, it deepens you, it connects you, it helps you see value in every moment, every person, every experience. And that's what makes life rich, not abundance, But awareness. Today isn't just another day today. You didn't just wake up. You were awakened. Awakened from numbness, from routine, from exhaustion. You were invited into a new day with an open heart, clear eyes, and a soul ready to receive. Let today be the day you live fully, not just to survive, but to love, to connect, to create meaning. Let every action, every word, every thought be a living testimony of grace, of compassion, of divine mercy, because you're still alive, and that alone is reason enough to begin again with faith, with hope, and with deep, abiding gratitude. Living with purpose. When your life becomes a message, there comes a moment quiet, unannounced, when you realize that simply being alive isn't enough. You want more than breath. You want meaning. You want to know that your existence matters, that your days are not just passing, but building towards something eternal. This longing isn't weakness. It's sacred. It's the echo of your soul remembering why it was created. Deep down, you know you weren't made just to survive. You were made to shine, to serve, to reflect something far greater than yourself. Your life speaks even when you don't, whether you realize it or not. Your life is always saying something. The way you treat others, the way you respond to hardship, the way you carry yourself when no one's watching, it all speaks. And the question is, what message are you sending? You don't need a platform to be influential. You don't need a title to be powerful. You don't need perfection to be purposeful. You just need to live with intention. When your actions align with your values, your life becomes a living testimony, one that whispers hope, radiates grace, and invites others to believe again. Purpose isn't found, it's revealed. So many people chase purpose like it's a destination. They search in careers, relationships, achievements, hoping that one day they'll stumble upon it. But purpose isn't something you find, it's something that's revealed. When you start living from the inside out, it begins when you ask deeper questions. What breaks my heart? What brings me joy? What gifts do I carry that others need? What truth am I afraid to live? As you lean into those questions, purpose starts to unfold, not in grand gestures, but in quiet obedience, in showing up, in staying faithful, in choosing love when bitterness feels easier. You were made for more than comfort. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into safety, into routine, into numbness. But comfort rarely leads to growth, and it never leads to purpose. Living with purpose means stepping into discomfort. It means risking rejection to speak truth. It means sacrificing ease to serve others. It means walking into the unknown with nothing but faith. But here's the miracle. When you choose purpose over comfort, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. You discover strength you didn't know you had. You uncover joy that isn't dependent on circumstances. You experience peace that surpasses understanding. Pain isn't the end, it's the refining. No one escapes pain, but not everyone allows pain to shape them. Some let it harden their hearts. Others let it deepen their compassion. When you live with purpose, pain becomes a teacher. It strips away illusions. It reveals what truly matters. It humbles you, softens you, and prepares you to carry the message you were born to share. Your scars don't disqualify you, they qualify you. They make your story real. They make your voice credible. They make your life relatable. And when you offer your pain as a gift, you become a vessel of healing for others. Purpose is found in the present. We often think purpose is somewhere out there in the future, in the next season, in the next opportunity. But purpose is always found in the present, in the now, in the ordinary moments that seem too small to matter. It's in the way you greet your neighbor. It's in the way you forgive your spouse. It's in the way you encourage your coworker. It's in the way you show up for your children. It's in the way you pray when no one sees. These moments are not filler. They are sacred. They are the building blocks of a life that matters. And when you honor the present, you begin to live with purpose, not someday, but today. You are not a mistake, you are a message. There's a lie that creeps in when life gets hard. The lie that you're not enough, that you're too broken, too late, too ordinary to make a difference. But that lie is not from God. You were handcrafted with intention. Every detail of your being, your personality, your passions, your quirks, your story was designed to reflect something divine. You are not a mistake. You are a message. And the world needs what only you can bring. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you have it all together. Start now. Speak now. Love now. Live now. Because someone out there is waiting for the light you carry. Purpose requires surrender. Living with purpose isn't about control, it's about surrender. It's about letting go of your plans and trusting the one who sees the whole picture. It's about saying, "Here I am, use me." Surrender doesn't mean passivity, it means alignment. It means allowing your life to be guided by something greater than ambition. It means trading your timeline for divine timing. It means trusting that even detours can lead to destiny, and in that surrender, you find freedom. You stop striving, you stop comparing, you stop fearing, because you know you're exactly where you're meant to be, even if it doesn't look like what you imagined. Purpose is rooted in love. At the heart of every true purpose is love, not ego, not recognition, not success. Love that sees beyond flaws. Love that serves without applause. Love that forgives without condition. Love that gives without expecting. Love that reflects the heart of God. When love becomes your motive, everything changes. Your work becomes worship. Your relationships become sacred. Your life becomes a reflection of heaven on earth. You don't have to know the whole path. The next step. Purpose can feel overwhelming. You want clarity. You want certainty. You want a map. But God rarely gives the full picture. He gives steps, one at a time, and that's enough. You don't have to know where the road ends. You just have to take the next faithful step. Maybe it's reaching out. Maybe it's letting go. Maybe it's starting something new. Maybe it's staying when you want to run. Whatever it is, trust it, walk it, and know that each step is part of a story far bigger than you can imagine. Your life is the sermon someone needs. You may never stand on a stage. You may never write a book. You may never be known by the masses. But your life, your quiet, faithful, intentional life, is preaching a sermon every day. To your children, to your friends, to your co-workers, to strangers who cross your path. And that sermon matters. It matters more than you know. Because in a world starving for authenticity, your life can be the evidence that love is real, that grace is possible, that hope is alive. Today is sacred. Live it on purpose. So here you are, breathing, awake, alive, not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine design. Today is not just another day. It's a gift, a calling, a canvas, and you get to choose how you paint it. Will you live distracted or devoted? Will you chase comfort or choose courage? Will you settle or surrender? Will you survive or shine? The choice is yours, and the invitation is clear. Live with purpose, live with love, live like your life is the message it was always meant to be. The power of stillness. When silence becomes sacred in a world that never stops moving, stillness feels foreign. We're conditioned to chase, to scroll, to strive. Our calendars overflow, our minds race, and our hearts grow weary. We measure worth by productivity and silence by absence. But what if stillness isn't emptiness? What if it's the doorway to everything we've been searching for? Stillness isn't the absence of movement, it's the presence of awareness. It's the quiet space where your soul can breathe, where your thoughts can settle, and where your heart can hear what it's been missing. In the stillness, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. The noise isn't just around you, it's within you. We often blame the world for our distractions, the notifications, the deadlines, the endless demands. But the real noise, the most exhausting kind, is internal. It's the voice that tells you you're not enough, the fear that keeps you from resting, the guilt that whispers you should be doing more. Stillness invites you to turn down that volume, to step away from the chaos and into clarity. It's not about escaping life, it's about returning to it with fresh eyes and a quiet heart. Stillness is where you meet yourself again. When was the last time you sat with yourself? Not your roles, not your responsibilities, but your raw, unfiltered self. Stillness is where you reconnect with the person beneath the layers, the child who used to dream, the soul that longs for meaning, the heart that aches to be known. In the quiet, you begin to hear your own voice again, not the one shaped by expectations, but the one shaped by truth. You remember what matters, you remember who you are, and you begin to live from that place, not from pressure, but from peace. You don't have to earn rest. You are designed for it. Rest isn't a reward, it's a rhythm. It's woven into the fabric of creation. Even the sun sets, even the ocean pauses, even the earth sleeps. You were never meant to run endlessly. You were meant to breathe deeply, to pause intentionally, to live cyclically. Stillness is not laziness, it's wisdom. It's the sacred act of honoring your limits and trusting that life continues even when you're not pushing. It's the brave decision to say, I am enough even when I am not producing. In stillness, you hear the whisper of God. God rarely shouts, he whispers, and his voice is clearest in the quiet. Not in the frenzy of achievement, but in the hush of surrender. When you slow down, you begin to notice the divine fingerprints on your life, the grace in your breath, the beauty in the mundane, the presence in the pause. Stillness is where you stop talking and start listening. It's where prayer becomes less about asking and more about receiving. It's where you realize that God isn't waiting for you to be impressive. He's waiting for you to be present. Growth doesn't always look like movement. We think growth means progress, action, results. But some of the deepest growth happens underground, in silence, in waiting, in stillness. Think of a seed. Before it breaks the surface, it spends time in the dark. It's not failing, it's forming. And so are you. The seasons when you feel hidden, quiet, or slow are not wasted. They are sacred. They are preparing you for what's next. Don't rush the process. Don't despise the quiet. Trust that something beautiful is unfolding even if you can't see it yet. Stillness teaches you to be, not just to Tao. Live in a culture obsessed with doing, accomplishing, hustling. But your worth isn't in your output. It's in your being. Stillness reminds you that you are valuable simply because you exist. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to chase validation. In the quiet, you begin to believe that you are already enough. And from that place of being, your doing becomes more meaningful, more intentional, more aligned. Stillness makes space for healing. There are wounds you've ignored, emotions you've buried, questions you've silenced. Stillness brings them to the surface, not to overwhelm you, but to heal you. When you stop running, you start feeling. And while that can be uncomfortable, it's also necessary. Healing doesn't happen in motion, it happens in presence, in honesty, in grace. Let the quiet be your sanctuary. Let it hold your pain gently. Let it remind you that you're not broken, you're becoming whole. You don't have to fill every silence. We often rush to fill silence with words, noise, distractions. But silence isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's where creativity is born, where clarity emerges, where peace expands. Let yourself sit in the stillness without needing to fix it. Let the quiet speak. Let it reveal what's been hidden. Let it soften what's been hardened. You'll be surprised what you hear when you stop trying to control the conversation. Stillness is a gift you can give yourself. You don't need permission to rest. You don't need a retreat to be still. You can choose it right here, right now, in the middle of your day, in the middle of your mess, in the middle of your life. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let go of the need to perform. Let go of the pressure to be perfect. Just be. Just breathe. Just receive. This moment is enough. You are enough. And the stillness is waiting to remind you of that. Stillness doesn't mean stagnation, it means alignment. When you pause, you realign. You reconnect with your values. You remember your purpose. You recalibrate your direction. Stillness isn't about stopping forever. It's about stopping long enough to make sure you're moving in the right direction. It's the sacred reset that allows you to live intentionally, not reactively. Don't fear the pause. Embrace it. It's not a detour, it's the path. Let stillness be your superpower in a world that glorifies hustle. Stillness is revolutionary. It's countercultural. It's brave. It's healing. Let it be your superpower. Let it be your anchor. Let it be the place you return to when life feels too loud, too fast, too heavy. Because in the stillness, you find strength. You find clarity. You find God. And you find yourself. The courage to begin again when starting over becomes sacred. There's something quietly terrifying about starting over. It feels like failure, like admitting something didn't work, like letting go of a dream you once held tightly. But what if beginning again isn't weakness? What if it's one of the bravest things you'll ever do? Life doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes the path you thought was permanent crumbles beneath your feet. Sometimes the relationship you believed in breaks. Sometimes the version of yourself you built no longer fits. And in those moments, you're faced with a choice: cling to what's gone, or step into what's next. Starting over isn't about erasing the past, it's about honoring it, then choosing to move forward anyway. You're allowed to outgrow what once felt right. There's a quiet grief in outgrowing something: a job, a friendship, a belief, a version of yourself. It's hard to admit that what once felt like home now feels like a cage. But growth demands honesty, and honesty demands courage. You're not betraying your past by changing. You're honoring your evolution. You're listening to the whisper inside that says, there's more. And that whisper is sacred. It's the voice of your soul nudging you toward alignment. Let yourself change. Let yourself shed. Let yourself begin again, not because you've failed, but because you're becoming. Asterisk starting over isn't starting from scratch. Easy to feel like you're back at square one, like all the progress you made was wasted. But nothing is ever wasted. Every experience, every heartbreak, every detour has shaped you. You're not starting from nothing, you're starting from wisdom. You've learned what doesn't work. You've discovered what matters. You've built resilience. And now, you get to build again with deeper roots, clearer vision, and a stronger heart. This isn't a reset. It's a rebirth. Let go of the timeline, embrace the season. We live in a world obsessed with time. By this age, you should have this. By this year, you should be there. But life doesn't follow a script. It unfolds in seasons. And every season has its own purpose. Some seasons are for building. Others are for breaking. Some are for blooming. Others are forbearing. And all of them are sacred. Don't rush your season. Don't compare it to someone else's. Trust that where you are is exactly where you're meant to be. Even if it doesn't look like success, there's strength in softness. Starting over often feels vulnerable. You're exposed, you're unsure, you're tender. But tenderness isn't weakness, it's strength. In its purest form, it takes courage to be soft in a world that tells you to be hard. It takes bravery to hope again after disappointment. It takes faith to open your heart when it's been broken. Let yourself be soft. Let yourself be real. Let yourself be human. That's where healing begins. You don't have to have it all figured out. One of the biggest lies we believe is that we need a perfect plan before we begin. That we need clarity, certainty, guarantees. But life rarely offers those. What it does offer is grace. Grace for the next step. Grace for the unknown. Grace for the messy middle. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to take the next faithful step. And then the next. And then the next. That's how new beginnings are built. Small act of courage at a time. Your past doesn't define your future. It's easy to let your past become your prison. To believe that because something didn't work before, it won't work now. To carry shame like a shadow. But your past is not your sentence, it's your story. And stories evolve. You are not your mistakes. You are not your regrets. You are not the version of yourself that didn't know better. You are a living, breathing testimony of grace. And grace always makes room for redemption. Let your past inform you but never limit you. Begin again with intention, not perfection. Perfection is paralyzing. It convinces you that if you can't do it flawlessly, you shouldn't do it at all. But intention is freeing. It allows you to show up imperfectly, but wholeheartedly. Start messy, start scared, start unsure. Just start. Your beginning doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be honest. And honesty has a way of opening doors you didn't even know existed. You're not alone in the restarts. Starting over can feel isolating, like you're the only one rebuilding, but you're not. There are countless others quietly beginning at loss, after burnout, after betrayal, after awakening. You're part of a sacred community of rebuild. People who've chosen hope over despair, faith over fear, movement over stagnation. Lean into that. Share your story. Ask for help. Receive support. You don't have to do this alone. Let your new beginning be rooted in truth when you begin again. You have a choice. Build from fear or build from truth. Fear says you need to prove something. Truth says you already are something. Let your new beginning be rooted in who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. Not who you pretended to be, not who you thought you had to be. Build from authenticity. Build from love. Build from grace. That's the kind of foundation that lasts. Rest is part of the rebuilding. You don't have to hustle your way into a new life. You don't have to grind your way into healing. Rest is not a detour, it's part of the journey. Let yourself pause. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself receive. Rest doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing the sacred work of restoration. And that work matters. Your new beginning might be quiet, but it's powerful. Not all new beginnings come with fireworks. Some come with whispers, with small shifts, with gentle nudges, and those are often the most powerful. Don't underestimate the quiet restart, the decision to forgive, the choice to show up. The moment you say, I'm ready, those moments change everything. Celebrate the courage it takes to begin again. You may not feel brave, you may not feel strong, But the fact that you're still here, still trying, still hoping, that's courage. Celebrate that. Honor that. Let yourself be proud of the resilience it took to get here. You've walked through fire. You've faced storms. You've endured heartbreak. And still you rise. That's worth celebrating. This is not the end, it's the beginning of something beautiful. So here you are, standing at the edge of something new. Maybe scared, maybe scarred, maybe unsure, but ready to begin again, ready to trust again, ready to live again. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a chapter filled with grace, growth, and possibility. Step into it, breathe into it, believe in it, because the courage to begin again is the beginning of everything. Living lightly in a heavy world, when grace becomes your way of being, the world can feel heavy, not just in headlines or heartbreaks, but in the quiet weight we carry inside. The pressure to be enough, the fear of falling behind, the grief. We don't speak of the expectations we silently shoulder. It's no wonder so many of us feel tired, not just physically, but spiritually. But what if there's another way? What if we could move through life with more ease, more softness, more grace? What if living lightly isn't about ignoring the heaviness, but learning how to hold it differently? Living lightly doesn't mean living carelessly. It means living consciously, means choosing peace over pressure, presence over perfection, and compassion over control. You don't have to carry it all somewhere along the way. We were taught that strength means carrying everything without flinching, that to be responsible is to be weighed down, that to be good is to be exhausted. But strength isn't about how much you carry, it's about knowing what to set down. You're allowed to release what's not yours. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to say, this is too much. Living lightly begins with permission. Permission to be human. Permission to be soft. Permission to let go. Don't let go of the need to prove. One of the heaviest burdens we carry is the need to prove ourselves. To prove we're smart enough, kind enough, successful enough, spiritual enough. But that chase is endless and exhausting. You were never meant to live for approval. You were meant to live from love. When you stop trying to earn your worth, you begin to feel it. You begin to trust it. You begin to live from a place of quiet confidence, not because you've achieved something, but because you've remembered who you are. Lightness comes from alignment, not achievement. We often think we'll feel lighter once we reach a goal, once we fix the problem, once we get the recognition. But true lightness doesn't come from achievement, it comes from alignment. But when your life reflects your values, your soul exhales. When your choices match your truth, your heart softens. When you stop pretending and start living authentically, the weight begins to lift. You don't need to do more. You need to be more aligned. Speak kindly to yourself. The way you talk to yourself matters. It shapes your energy. It colors your days. It either adds weight or lifts it. If your inner voice is harsh, critical, relentless, of course life feels heavy. But when you begin to speak with kindness, with grace, with compassion, everything shifts. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Remind yourself that you're doing your best, that you're allowed to be imperfect, that you're worthy of gentleness. Choose what you carry. Not everything deserves space in your heart. Not every opinion, not every expectation, not every regret. You get to choose what you carry. You get to decide what belongs in your life and what doesn't. You get to say, this no longer serves me, and walk away. That's not selfish. That's sacred. That's how you make room for joy, for peace, for purpose. Slow down. You're not falling behind. The world moves fast, and it will convince you that you need to keep up. That rest is laziness. That slowness is failure. That urgency is virtue. But your soul was not designed for speed. It was designed for depth. Slow down, breathe, listen. Trust that your pace is enough. Trust that your timing is divine. Trust that you're not falling behind, you're falling into place. Let joy be your compass. Joy isn't frivolous. It's essential. It's the light that guides you home. It's the spark that reminds you why you're alive. Let joy lead you. Let it shape your decisions. Let it influence your relationships. Let it be the reason you say yes and the reason you say no. Joy doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you've chosen to find beauty anyway. Release the weight of should. Should is a heavy word. It's loaded with guilt, comparison, and pressure. It tells you who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to want. But should is rarely rooted in truth. It's rooted in fear. Replace should with want, with need, with feel, with believe. Let your life be shaped by authenticity, not obligation. That's how you begin to live lightly. Let grace be your default. Grace is the soft landing, the gentle answer, the quiet strength. It's what allows you to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to move forward without bitterness. Let grace be your default, not just for others, but for yourself. When you mess up, when you fall short, when you forget, grace doesn't excuse everything, but it embraces everything. And that embrace is what makes life feel lighter. You don't have to fix everything. Some things aren't yours to fix. Some problems aren't yours to solve. Some people aren't yours to change. Living lightly means knowing the difference between what's yours and what's not. It means showing up with love, but not losing yourself in the process. You can care deeply without carrying everything. You can be present without being consumed. You can love without losing your light. Rest is resistance in a culture that glorifies hustle. Rest is revolutionary. It's a way of saying, I am not a machine. It's a way of reclaiming your humanity. Rest isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you refill your soul. It's how you reconnect with your purpose. It's how you remember what matters. Make space for rest, not just when you're exhausted, but as a rhythm, as a ritual, as a way of life. Lightness is a practice. You won't wake up one day and suddenly feel light. It's a practice, a choice, a way of being. It's choosing to forgive, to breathe, to laugh, to let go, to trust. Some days will feel heavier than others. That's okay. Lightness isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Keep choosing it, keep practicing it, keep returning to it. You deserve to feel free. You weren't created to live weighed down. You were created to live free, to move through life with open hands, open heart, open spirit. You deserve to feel light, to feel joy, to feel peace, not because everything is easy, but because you've chosen to live with grace. Let yourself feel free. Let yourself feel alive. Let yourself feel light. This is your invitations. So here you are, in a world that feels heavy, in a life that's full, in a heart that's tired. And here's your invitation: to live lightly, to breathe deeply, to walk gently, to love freely, to rest often, to trust always. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to show up with grace, with truth, with light. Because living lightly isn't about escaping the world. It's about transforming how you move through it. And you were made to move with grace. Asterisk, a gentle invitation to walk in grace. You've made it this far. Thank you. Truly, it means you're someone who's searching not for perfection, but for peace, not for answers, but for alignment. And that's a sacred thing. Living lightly in a heavy world isn't a destination, it's a daily choice. It's the quiet courage to pause, to breathe, to trust. It's the grace to forgive yourself and begin again. And it's the deep knowing that you don't walk alone. Jesus doesn't demand that we carry the world. He invites us to lay it down, to rest in Him, to find stillness in the storm. And when we do, we begin to live, not just survive. So wherever you are right now, hurting, healing, hopeful, I want you to know you are seen, you are loved, and you are invited into a life of deeper stillness, softer strength, and sacred joy. If this message spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to help us share it. Please like this video, comment with your thoughts or reflections, and share it with someone who might need a little light today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, Stillness with Jesus, so you won't miss future reflections, prayers, and soul-nourishing content. Together, let's build a space where grace is the language, and stillness is the way. You're not alone. You're part of something beautiful. Until next time, walk gently, live lightly, and stay close to Jesus.